Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to play with the 2013 Mustang GT a little bit. It's been a while since I kind of gone over this car, especially with all the new modifications that I've done since probably the last video. And figure I'd go ahead and give this car some love and thrash on it a little bit. And of course, talk about this car a little bit, kind of its evolution and where it's at. And yeah, we'll just have some fun. Let's go and start it up. Yeah. First thing I want to talk about real quick is the new exhaust system, or mufflers I should say. I put a set of 2011 to 2012 GT500 mufflers on this car, and it's the perfect sound for me. It's a nice deep tone. Of course, this car has Cook's long tube headers with their high flow catted H-pipe, so it's not that raspy, and it sounds nice and deep. It's got a really good tone to it, and it's not super loud at cold starts. And but when you open it up, it just sounds really good. I just really like the sound of this car with this setup. So it's the perfect exhaust setup for me. So I don't think I'm going to make any more exhaust changes. I think this is it. But yeah, let's go ahead and get this car warmed up a little bit, and let's go play with it a little. All right, so let's talk about the evolution of this car a little bit. As you guys probably know, if you've watched any of my previous videos, this is my good weather daily driver. Kind of crazy to think, because it's actually my most powerful vehicle that I own. It's of course VMP Gen 3R Supercharged. It's got the headers and the full exhaust and everything like that, all the supporting modifications. Yeah, so it's actually my most powerful car. I do own two other Fox body Mustangs. They are lighter, of course, but they don't make the horsepower that this car does. You can see the car seat in the back, because again, I pick up my son with this car, we cruise around this car, all that stuff. Of course, I have the windows up right now. It's hot out. It's see, it says it's 83 outside, but with the humidity it probably feels more like 90 to 95. It's been really hot and humid lately here in Illinois. I got the AC turned on because out of all my Mustangs, this one has only functioning AC in it. But so yeah, the car started out, I bought this car several years ago, bone stock with only 3,000 miles on it, and in all intents and purposes it was still pretty much new. It still smelled brand new. The car was garaged, very meticulously taken care of, babied, the whole nine. And then of course, once I got it, I started modifying it, did suspension upgrades, shifter, of course paint hard and all that stuff, all the stuff that you know would be typical bolt-ons, you know, I did. And of course I upgraded the brake system, wheels and tires, and then of course got into the power. Started off by adding some headers, did a clutch swap so that way I could shift at higher RPMs without any lockout. And then after that, I wanted some more horsepower, so I decided to go ahead and throw a 2018 manifold on it along with an Anderson power pipe, and it was fun, naturally aspirated. Of course, this is all on pump gas. And then got the itch, and I talked to the people at VMP, and I bought a Gen 3R Supercharger kit. That's right, I did not get that given to me. I had to pay for it, but I did work out a deal with them and threw this VMP Gen 3R Supercharger on it. And now, of course, it makes, you know, 650 plus. It's actually making 660 real wheel horsepower. I have a dyno sheet here on the most recent dyno we did on this car. No tuning changes, but it does make 660 horsepower now, and about 500 foot-pounds of torque. Just overall fun. So, as the car sits right now, great good weather daily. But when we thrash on it here in a little bit, I'm gonna have to do a roll from second gear, because first gear is pretty much completely worthless in this car, and especially with the tires that I have. Now, if I do decide to take this car to the next step and make it more just kind of like a weekend warrior type of car, I will put a set of Toyo R888Rs on here, because that's my favorite street radial tire, or drag race tire, I guess you can say. My favorite one. I love it on my Fox. And so that's exactly what this car would be getting when we get to that point. But in regards to everything else, I think this car is set up perfectly where it's at. I don't think it needs to do anything else. There's always the question of, well, you're gonna get more horsepower by going to E85. Well, when I do that, I'd have to swap out the fuel system, of course, go with bigger injectors, and of course a retune and stuff like that, which it could be a possibility in the future. But do I really want to do that? See, the car drives and runs great now. It runs on 93 octane, which is more readily available than the E85, especially good quality E85. So can I live with just, you know, 660 horsepower? I can. And I thought about it here and there. Maybe I could beef up the rear end, put a nice set of like drag wheels and tires on this thing, and you know, really just, you know, take it up to the next level. But do I really want to do that? And I really don't think I do. I think I like this car where it's at. I'm very content with it, and it's just overall a very fun daily driver car. And yeah, so I think now I should just go ahead and start thrashing on this thing, because you're probably tired of me talking about it. But overall, you know, living with this car as a daily driver, super smooth, super easy to do, and if you keep your foot out of it, I'm still treating it. The car still drives like it was when I just had the 18 manifold swap on it. Nothing more, nothing less. So another cool thing of going with the exhaust that I did versus the old Roush exhaust on this, with the VMP Supercharger now, you can actually hear some stuff. And yeah, I'll just let you guys get a sneak peek on that. That's right, you can actually hear the blower whine now. Now, of course, it's a VMP Gen 3R. It's super efficient, and of course, they're not meant to like whine like an 03 Cobra did. You know, these things are super efficient, but of course, going with the quieter exhaust, you can actually hear the supercharger whine a little bit, which is really cool. A nice little perk. All right, like I said, I'm gonna have to do this from like a second gear roll, because again, first gear is completely worthless in this thing. And I still might spin a little here in second. Let's take a look. Oh, man. Oh, it feels so good. It feels so good. And as you can see, I shifted there at 7,500 RPM, no problem. This clutch is still doing excellent, holds up great. So I guess the next really evolution of this car is if I decided to, you know, make traction a bigger priority. If I'm going to be doing more spirited driving with this car, I would need a set of rear tires. And of course, I already mentioned it'd be the Toyo R888Rs, and just because I'm a super fan of those tires. They worked great on my Fox, and I'm sure they work great on this car too. Of course, I'm not the only one that's giving them high praises for those tires. But there's the give and take. You know, right now this car is a daily driver, gets driven on the highway a good amount. As we sit right now, the car has 23,000 miles on it. So since I've owned it, I put about 20,000 miles on the car. I do a lot of highway driving just because of where I work. And so what I'd have to also determine that, you know, with a lot of highway miles on a tire setup like that, you know, would it be worth it? Of course, there's the other option of buying another set of wheels and tires, or another set of wheels to go with those tires, I should say. And I could do that as well, which I'm kind of leaning towards that. But again, when the tires sit a long time, and of course, you know, we see pretty much all 4 seasons here where I live, is those tires may not have the longest life possible. And of course, those tires are expensive, you know. That'd be a pretty decent investment to do. But at the same time, you know, I would be able to probably do some first gear launches on this thing, so it'd be fun nonetheless. All right, let's go ahead and do another pull for you guys, and then we'll wrap this video up. And everything's clear, so let's go ahead and do another second gear pull here. Go about 2,000 RPM, and let's just hit it. Woo! Oh my God! Oh, it got a little squirrely there, not gonna lie. Oh, oh man. I think that's really all there is that I can say about it. Car puts a smile on my face every time. I don't get bored with this car. It's just overall so much fun. This is so much fun. If you haven't had a chance to drive like a supercharged S197 or S550, just the Coyote in general supercharged, guys, you gotta do it. I mean, it's just so much fun. It's just, I mean, come on. I mean, I mean, let's just do it. knows what the future will hold. Of course, just thrashing on it a little bit right there, it's got me thinking of things, but all right guys, that's gonna wrap up this video here. I hope you enjoyed this little tour or little discussion here and me thrashing around on this 2013 Mustang GT. And yeah, if you haven't had a chance to drive a supercharged Coyote, you're missing out on a lot of fun. So if you like my content, please like, share, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so that way you don't miss out on any new content coming to the channel. Take care, and we'll see you in the next video.